As I have told you that if you see the reflection in the mirror, you don't see the mirror, but you see the reflection. Now this mirror, as I said, was the all-pervading power of God, which we do not see. We only see the reflection and we believe in the reflection, that reflection is everything. But not the mirror itself, which is the all-pervading power. And our attention is all the time on the reflection. So, if we start, when this all-pervading power was created, and then in that all-pervading power, we have three powers. The first power we have is the power by which we exist. Another is the power by which we create. Third is the power by which we evolve. And the all-pervading power has got the power which has all the three powers which are the cause of these powers. Do you follow? This is too complicated. We say that we have creative power, alright? Within us there is a creative power. Now the cause of that creative power is existing in the mirror or is in the color, not in the pattern. The pattern is created by the all-pervading power of creating pattern. Correct? Do you follow this? Now, it will be difficult. Alright. There is a power which is called as Mahakali power, which passes through our brain, goes to our left side, goes down and ends up in the Muladhara chakra. This is the power by which we exist. But this power has a power in the all-pervading power which sustains it. We can say like this, that when we paint, alright, so we use a green color, for example. So the green color that we use with our brush is in the palette kept there. Do you understand that? Right? So that is the cause of this power. In the same way, on the right hand side, we have the power of creativity, of thinking, of future, mental and physical being, comes from left, goes to the right and goes down up to the Muladhara chakra. Same power which makes us creative is controlled by the power of the Creator in the palette or in the all-pervading power. The third power that we have, which you know very well, is the power that evolves, by which we evolve things, we manifest things, by which we are evolved too. This evolutionary power is beyond us. This evolutionary power, for example, we cannot convert amoeba into anything else. We cannot convert a quadruped into a human being. So this evolutionary power that is in the center in the Sushumna Nadi, has also got the cause, or we can say the main color, in the all-pervading power. There are three powers that are within us, and the powers from which they are derived are in the all-pervading. So you can think like this, that the mirror itself has got the power to create the pattern, and the mirror creates the pattern. We can see the pattern, but we cannot see the mirror. Alright? So, there's a fourth power, we can say, which is in the mirror. Three powers I have already told you. Which is not at all manifested in us, which is a part of the unmanifested whole and sleeps in our triangular bone as Kundalini. This fourth power is the one which awakens and rises through different chakras, passes through the Brahmarandra here, through the fontanel bone, and takes you to the fourth dimension of manifestation, where you get the fourth power manifested. Did you follow that? So, the first power we have is the power by which we have emotions we think. This is gross. Also the power by which we think of the future, plan out things and all that. This power also is a gross power. By this power only, right hand power, the five elements create the gross material world. But to a normal human being, even emotions, they think are subtle. The feelings are subtle. Actually they are not. They are also gross. Because you know how to handle them. So, the Kundalini moves your attention from the gross, which includes the attention on the matter, the attention on the emotions, into the subtle. Subtle is we can say the deities that have created these gross matters, and then it moves into the cause of these matters. That is cause is the Kundalini. Attention goes to the Kundalini. Because the Kundalini rises in such a fashion that it grabs your attention, and then ultimately it merges into the great cause, which is the all-pervading power. So the Kundalini's movement is very dynamic. Say your attention is on this light. It's a headache to see, to understand the awakening of the Kundalini. Because it's a technique, I'm telling you how it works. But otherwise it's just like that. It's like pushing a button and getting the light. But it's not that simple, as you know. When you push the button and get the light, there's a big thing behind it, big organization, big engineering, and it has a history behind it. So when you press a button, the electricity works out the light, but you know it has a big mechanism behind it. In the same way, Kundalini also has a very big mechanism. So this Kundalini, when it rises, now see how dynamic it is. It moves from gross, your attention, to subtle, the cause, to the greatest cause. Now, if your attention, say, is on this mic, from mic, then it's feeling. That also goes. Feeling that you have, it's my mic, the feeling that you have, is also goes. From there it removes your attention. Then it takes you to the subtle. Now the subtle are the deities. And then it takes you completely to the Kundalini itself. That means the outside attention is attracted inside and becomes one with the Kundalini itself. Then the Kundalini raises your attention upward, takes you upward, and when it pierces this Brahmarandra, you know that is the seat of Sadashiva, is the seat of the primordial being, or you can say the seat of the God Almighty, who never changes. And His seat is reflected in our heart as spirit. So when this Kundalini touches that spirit, you find that the spirit gives the enlightenment. As in the house, the gas is running all the time, but there is no light. When it comes near a flicker of the light, it just gets ignited, and you get the light there. As you must have seen gas lights, I don't know if you have seen nowadays, if you have seen the gas lights, but we still have in Bombay gas lights. And the gas is running through and through. It is shut out in the daytime, the flow of the gas. And in every lamp, there is a small flicker of light all the time coming. A little light is permanently there. There are many gas cookers also like that. We had one in opposite of the same time. But there is always, what do you call that light? Pilot light. So there is a pilot light all the time burning. That pilot light is in our heart, the spirit, is the heart. When this gas is opened out, the sense that when Kundalini rises, and she touches, your attention touches that pilot light, it gets ignited, that's how you get enlightened. This is the way it works. And the whole thing I should tell you in some gaps, because we'll get a headache. Right? Dry thing to talk about. But the happening is very nice and is extremely fantastic. So, we should be able to do living work, because that is what God does. And if we can do living work, then we should believe that we have got self-worth. What is the living work God does? Is to sprout a primule, or we can say in Hindi language it is called as ankur, or the germinating power. God can excite the germinating power within a person. Let us start from the one point, when the creation is in complete sleeping state, when there is nothing created. It all is merged into the all-pervading power, you can say. And that power also is merged into what we call as God Almighty. So it contains all the aspects of creation. Like when we sleep, then all our being outside disappears within us. When we are awakened, then we see that we are busy, you are there, he is there, she is there. But when we sleep, all of you disappear in my mind, and I sleep with that. At that state, when everything is there, is at an entropy stage, you can call it. Then the first time, how it starts? Creating. That means when at this stage it is awakened, like the seed, when it is awakened. When it is awakened, then what happens? The separation takes place. Now we can say that the seed germinates not by itself because it has a germinating power put in it. But God's germination is handled by Him. He is the one who sleeps and He is the one who gets. It is His own desire. Whenever He feels like He can get up, or whenever He feels like He sleeps off. Then He divides Himself into two aspects. One as God Almighty, and the other as His power, the divine power. Now this God Almighty exists as a witness to all His creation. Only His power takes a form, and she creates. That's why we call it as Sadashiva and Bhagavati. Sadashiva is the God Almighty, and Bhagavati is the power of God, the primordial power of God, which manifests. Now this God Almighty, which we call, is unchangeable, Sadashiva. So He exists all the time, whether there is entropy or there is creation, He exists. Now if you ask me why does He exist all the time, I have only one answer, is that is His own nature, that He exists. Now this power starts creating. Now when we understand of God, we think that God is something like Rock of Gibraltar, which is just like a whole thing, placed like that, which has no eyes, which has no nose, which has no hands, nothing. It's just Rock of Gibraltar. It has no different aspects, it has no different ways of looking at things. You think of a man, he is a son, he is a father, he is a husband, he is a citizen, he has so many aspects. In the way God also has different aspects. He has so many aspects that they are called as 35 crores of aspects here. 350 million aspects. So, then this power starts creating and also reflecting the aspects of God in the creation. These aspects of God come on this earth as the incarnations. But God Almighty as a whole never incarnates, but His aspects do. So the first aspect of God itself as Sadashiva is reflected within our heart as Shiva, which never incarnates, which is present in all the three conditions of Sthiti, Pralaya and Samhara. That is when there is existence. Sthiti is the present state. Samhara when the people are killed, and Pralaya when the whole thing is destroyed. In all these conditions, he exists. And these three conditions he transcends and he creates. Now, the aspect of God Almighty, which is a witness to the play of the divine power. This aspect is witnessing the play. And he is the only spectator. He is the one who is the only enjoyer. So, the divine power plays and makes the play interesting for him. If it is not interesting, then the Shiva, or we can say the God Almighty, informs that he is not interested, she stops it, and the play is over. He is the only spectator, and she is the one who is absolutely one with him. We cannot understand in human relationship anybody that close. But we can understand the sun and the sunlight, moon and the moonlight in the same way. In the same way, we have this relationship of God Almighty and His power. So the aspects of God are reflected by this divine power, which herself incarnates them. As you have seen, there are three powers within us, so there are three aspects first manifested in us. One is the aspect on the left hand side of Shiva, right hand side of Brahma, and the central of Vishnu. This Vishnu is the evolutionary force. This evolutionary force incarnates all the time and leads human beings in their evolution till it reaches its full form, which is, as we call it, is Shri Krishna here. Through this evolutionary force only, she has manifested the child, the Son of God, who is Christ. She has manifested him first as Sri Ganesh, who loses all his gross being and remains only the vibrations and comes on this earth as Jesus Christ. There is no difference at all between these two. These are the two faces of one coin. And that's how the whole thing is laid down, the stage is laid down. And today, at this juncture, you are here to enter into that kingdom by which you enter into the divine power, or I would say the divine power starts flowing through you and you become conscious, because the heart pulsation that you hear is from the spirit. The spirit that is watching you all the time. This spirit is introduced to your attention, and the pulsation of the spirit can be felt on your central nervous system. You can feel it on your nerves. So the breakthrough of the evolutionary power into the new state, new awareness, which is called as the vibratory awareness, happens to you. And the time has come, the blossom time has come, and many get it marked. Because it is your own power which you have to get it. You have to master it and to enjoy it. It's a gift. It has to be a gift. Anything else, it cannot be. Because whatever is important has been gifted to us. See our eyes, see our breathing capacity, see our digestion, see our being itself is gifted to us. What did we do for it? Nothing. And we are taken for granted. In the same way you take it for granted that you have, then you won't feel so bad. It's my job to give, and it's only